Hey, what's up, everyone? I know it's been a while since I've posted on my YouTube, but I want to try to start posting more, and so I'm going to jump into this first video here, which is today I'm going to be breaking down a mix that I made over the tail end of 2020, and I put the mix out. You can find the mix on my SoundCloud. I'll leave a link below in the description. But I wanted to go and break it down. Basically, what I did is I made a 20-minute mix of all original music, edits, and the likes, and it was a super ambitious project. I made the entire mix in about 3 days, and like I said, it's all original music, all edits, just kind of like mashing a bunch of different ideas together. And now, about a year later, majority of them have turned into either full songs. There's one that's actually coming out later this month as a release, and I believe there's an edit as well from the mix that's going to be coming out on Bandcamp as a little edits package that I put together. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll break it down and show you what I did. Alright, so here we are in Ableton. We're in Ableton 11, and so here is the project. The project spans over, I think, in total of what I actually used, it was 218 channels. And so what I did just to kind of make the organization a bit easier is I just grouped everything in terms of like each song or idea. And so as you can see here, here's like the first one, and then this little interlude piece into the next original thing. Another song. Down here is another one. Here's another, etc., etc., etc. And so they're all grouped together for each different track that I made for a little bit of easier organization. So yeah, I'll kind of just roughly go through each little group here and just show like what I did. But yeah, basically what I did is I just kind of applied a bunch of different techniques that I had learned over the past couple of years, basically just the pandemic, and just applied them all to this mix project. And yeah, basically it's just a good exercise to kind of apply it to music making, or if you have another idea for a project, kind of like, making an all original mix or whatever it might be. Take all the methods that you might have learned recently and just apply them all in a project like this. Like, that was kind of what we did with, if you don't know, I'm one half of X and G, and so our first two albums was basically us applying them to songs or ideas or whatever it was, and even like techniques too, and just also applying the techniques to making the album. And yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the beginning here. Let's see, this first song is just an edit of this Leon Vinehall track, Midnight on Rainbow Road. But more specifically, what I first kind of started with was I had this idea for just this chaotic intro, just saying come. Oh, sorry about that, I have a pitch wheel on. And so it's just these three channels. I have these samples. I just typed in the word "come" into like a text-to-speech thing online, and then just downloaded the MP3 and just import it into these granulators. If you are in Ableton and you don't have Granulator 2, I highly suggest grabbing it. It is free, and it's a super fun tool for just all sorts of crazy stuff. I highly suggest checking out granular synthesis in general too. It's an incredible just technique for making really textural and unique sounds. So yeah, so as you can see here, there's tons of automation going on in all these different channels here, and basically the main thing that I'm automating is the grain size, as you can see down here. And then on this one, I think it's just this one. Yeah, just this first one, I'm automating the file position. And so you can automate all of these different parameters, obviously, and just make for some really interesting stuff. So if I solo each one, there's just this going on, this other one, and it's all just changing over time. And then there's this other one, which is basically a female text-to-speech as well. And I have on here an auto pan. That's how it's going back and forth like that in the speakers. So yeah, all together. So yeah, that's happening. And then if we bring in the actual song, which is this right here, this is how it sounds all together as it fades in. So yeah, that's all happening, and then I have this Move For Me acapella come in. And have some drums fade in. I'm not going to play the acapella for too long. I don't want to get hit with copyright on YouTube. So, but just so you can hear, and then I also have this clarity. And then I also tried this other one, Stay the Night. But I thought this one was more fitting. And so all I did was I just have a bunch of acapellas in a bank, and I just kind of went through, and ironically, these both were in key. I didn't even have to pitch them. As you can see here, it's this Move For Me is original pitch. The Clarity one is original pitch. I did apply some auto-tune to Clarity, as you can see here. And that's basically it. Guitar rig. I have this all built in a chain. This, I believe, is on my Patreon. So if you don't know, I do have a Patreon. Feel free to subscribe if that's something you might be interested in. I do additional tutorials on there, upload sample packs, serum presets, other fun goodies and things like that. But yeah, you can grab my mastering rack, which has been applied to certain groups here. Some of these I did go and master, and some I did not. It's just whatever felt was needed per each group. So anyways, yeah, check out my Patreon. You can grab some of the stuff here that I'm using on there. But anyways, so yeah, I have all this, and then I also in my head was like, oh hey, this Monophobia melody could work too. And sure enough, it did. I think I changed the key of it to make it fit, but it worked. And I just went and drew this all by hand. I just listened to the song over and over and just copied the notes as best as I could. And then just changed the key. But anyways, yeah, so there's all that happening. And then there's some synths from Omnisphere, this choir, and this pad. So all together, everything. And then just some simple drum loops, nothing crazy. And then that's basically it for this. So anyways, then we move on over here. And I don't know what led to me deciding on this, but I kind of just pulled music that had, you know, I was really vibing with, and I was really inspired listening to a lot of Floating Points, especially the Crush record that came out, I think it was 2019. But yeah, this Anistic modular piece, I think that's how you pronounce it. Super good. There we go. So yeah, this, and then I just thought, hey, James Blake could sound good over this. And I tried to find an acapella, but I couldn't, so I found this acapella cover of Overgrown on YouTube, and I just downloaded that. And it sounded pretty similar to James Blake. So anyways, what I did is I just used this waves program called the King's Microphone, and then some auto tune as well, isotope nectar, and guitar rig. Those are the main things kind of creating the effect on the vocals. I tried some other stuff. As you can see here, just turned things off that I did try and I didn't like. Oh yeah, and I also use this plugin here called Fresh Air. It adds a bit more brightness to vocals or other things. Super nice plugin. It doesn't make it too harsh either. It's just like a very soft brightness, at least to my ears, but I think it's nice. So yeah, I had all this happening as it faded out of this Leon Vinehall track. And then it builds up into this tune here that I made, which is the next one. So what I did is I had this kind of like build up, and then I used this plugin here called Pitch Hack. I think it's native to Ableton, or it was like a third-party like Max for Live device that you can grab on Ableton's website. But I mainly use this plugin here called Pitch Wheel, and it's great to throw on the master, and you can kind of change the key of your song. So, you know, say you're like, okay, I like the key of this song, but like, let's try some other keys, and you can go and change the key of your entire song, and it kind of leads to new inspiration. So it's a great tool for, you know, if you're kind of feeling stuck with your song, or like you're like, what's like some other ideas that could come to mind if I change the key? And so this is great. So anyways, one thing I will say about this plugin though is I wouldn't keep it on when you're rendering out your final song, because it does degrade the quality a bit. It's just more a tool for kind of like visualizing. But anyways, what I did is I found this pitch hack because I was looking for a plugin that could just go and pitch everything for me. This didn't do a great job, but it did lead to some like an interesting effect. So what it did is it kind of like glitched everything out. So I'll show you here. Oh, it's so bizarre. It's like turning it off. Interesting. Well, I did go and record the output of what it does. Yeah, like it kind of like created this like riser effect. I don't know why it is deactivating like that. I've never seen that happen. But yeah, it kind of like made this like riser, glitchy, weird effect. And so I used it as a riser for going into the next song. And it just worked really well to go into the next piece. So yeah, this is kind of like a garage, UK garage type of piece, I guess. And so the main thing was just this sub here. This was me learning synthesis. Very new to synthesis, even though I've been making music for about 12 years now. I'm just now learning. So, you know, you can make music for years, or you could learn a craft for years, and there's still so much more to learn. And so anyways, yeah, this was me just kind of making a patch instead of using presets and stuff, and then I just did some drums. There's a kick and this igloo ghost loop, and then more drums down here. And all together. And so yeah, again, nothing too crazy. There's not much going on. We could jump over here. There's some more happening. Just these chords, all I did was, you know, it's just a sample, and I think I just picked different pieces, it looks like, from a loop. Oh yeah. So I just went and picked different pieces from the loop. Didn't even pitch anything at all. Just like kept it super simple. Add a bit of RC20 and some flanger to this synth. So here it is solo, and then without the effects. And then with. It's just a little bit of the wobble going on, the pitch wobble, and that was basically it. Like, nothing super crazy, but, and then, yeah, all together. And then just back into the more atonal without the chords and stuff. And just little various samples here and there. Nothing crazy at all. So, and then again, you know, I had it fade out. I was just kind of like thinking about like a DJ set when I was building this. And so then here is where everything like fades out, and you can mix in another song. And again, it's nothing crazy, it's just some drums. So I built this loop in another session. I just went and I think I actually imported the drums. Yeah, I think these are the drums here from that session. And what's great with Ableton is you can just, you know, go and if you have like two different loops or like, you know, just like short, small projects, or even if they're big projects, it doesn't matter the size. You can go into your projects and you can just select whatever it might be, and you can just go and you can drop the project in, and it will go and merge. And it will merge to whatever like your BPM is that's in the main project that you're in. So yeah, super nice way to just kind of like merge things together, so that way, you know, if you're like, oh, okay, I'm stuck on this loop, I'm stuck on the project I'm working on now, but maybe they could both work together, and then it kind of like reignites your inspiration to where you can make a song out of those two different loops. So basically what I'm saying is never get rid of your loops, never kill off anything, because you never know. An idea could be useful in the future, be it 6 months from now or even 5 years from now. You never know. It's always good to have them. So yeah, anyways, this right here is the loop, and it was more so just kind of like visualizing, and I was like, okay, this could work. So then I just dragged the project in, and then here's the actual drums right here, and I added like, you know, melodic elements and all that jazz. So there's this from Korg, I believe it is, the Korg Poly 6, and then this hip-hop bass, which is an incredible bass inside of Ableton. And then yeah, another Omnisphere choir. I think it was just the same one that I used in the Leon Vinehall thing. And then again, I tried some vocals over it. Oh, I think it's out of key. Anyway, so I won't play too long again. I don't want to get hit with copyright, but, you know, it's always fun to kind of take acapellas and just throw them on top. It kind of helps you to visualize, like, you know, the song coming together that way as well. So, you know, if you're ever stuck on an idea or a song, just grab an acapella and just build a song or a beat around the acapella. And that's a great way of kind of getting something hashed out as well. So yeah, so all of this goes on for a while. I kind of just like, I didn't really add too much structure to everything. I was just kind of in flow state and just going with it, focusing more on just like making everything flow from one song into the next. So this goes for a while, and then I had it kind of like, I just used the same drums to go into this next idea. Another thing that really inspired me and has been a staple piece for me for years is Random Album Title from Deadmau5. And I just loved how that album, it was just like this long flowing piece. Everything flowed into the next. It was like an extended play. I know extended play means something else, but just how each piece extended into the next, there was no like downtime. Like, here's one song, the drums keep go, and then you could literally bring in the next song by using the same drums. And so I kind of was in that headspace when I was making this whole section here. So the drums are exactly the same from this, but instead I just used different synths and sounds versus this first part here. As you can tell, I was very much in the headspace of like deadmau5 and just older, I guess, like house sound, just like all that stuff. But yeah, so I have like, the M1, the classic M1 Korg, or organ, I mean the M1 organ from Korg. And I tried this other sound, but I didn't like it, so I just went with the organ. And some percussion bits. This like bass sound from the Buchla. I don't want to unfreeze it because this project is really big, but yeah, it's from this Buchla from Arturia. Also a great series of synths. And then this from the ARP 2600, which is also from Arturia. So yeah, all of that's going on. Again, like I said, nothing too crazy. There's not a ton of elements going on. And then here was when I decided to kind of switch it up. Oh yeah, so we have like all these effects built up. And here's where the BPM changes. So I don't think I've really talked about this, but here on the mixer, I have the BPM changing. So it's very subtle, it's at 130 at the very beginning, then goes to 135 for the garagey tune, and then it jumps up to 140 a bit later. So I think we're about to get to that part. So it switches right here, and we get into this unlock and flip. It's, again, super simple. Just this vocal, bass from Korg again, MS-20, kind of like a Reese bass. And again, I don't want to play the vocal for too long. I don't want to get hit with copyright, but I just pitched it to get it to fit in key with what I was doing. Just use my vocal chain and just use auto-tune again. Is more so not necessarily to get it to fit in key, it's just more so for the effect. I just like the auto-tune effect on certain things and just making it sound more digital versus like natural. So yeah, so this is all happening. Well, here, let me turn this off. And then for these here, I just did a really fast delay, just put it on 1, and just put it on a separate channel so that it wasn't affecting this main vocal. So that's how we have that little delay effect going on. And then this. And this was a melody that I just pulled from this DJ Swisha sample. Sounds like that. But I changed a few of the notes. So yeah, all that's going on. And then this bed squeak that I just like sped up, and it's going through this auto pan here. Oops. And this kick pattern. And then I just use it as kind of like an intro bit and like it to go into this build here. it just straight hard cuts into this build. So here I kind of just like built different parts that technically could all be its own song, but I could also go and flesh this, unlock it, like intro thing into its own song, and I could turn this pop, lock, and drop section here into its own song too, or I could merge them together. But for the mix, it just kind of seemed fitting, and also just kind of like, let's just go, like this is what is coming to mind, this is what's flowing, like let's just roll with it. So yeah, I just threw this pop, lock, and drop it acapella, made this build, and I just pulled these drums from this Azalea Banks 813 remix. These drums are super sick. I remember finding this like years ago and being like, damn, this has really good energy. So yeah, I just threw that in there. And then this little fill from this Look at Me Now, I think it was just the instrumental. Yeah, just the instrumental. And so and then it goes into this like drop section here. And so this is that same come sample from the very beginning in the intro. And so I just went and used this, and I think I got a couple different versions of it. Come. So there's that. This is the main bass. I think this was something I made in Serum. Okay, that's the lower bass. Dang, did I delete it? Okay, well anyways, I made this in Serum, I'm pretty sure. But what's causing it to sound chaotic like that is I went and I'll show you real quick. So as you can see here, I have this turned off, so if I... Yeah, there it is. So it's just this here being ran through this LFO, being applied there. I think that's basically it. Okay, and I went and applied this LFO here to the pitch. I think that stands for coarse pitch. Oh yeah, coarse pitch. And so it's just a sine wave, and there's a filter, and then just this right here, comb filter. Comb filters are super fun, just for interesting kind of effects that are applied to any sound, like especially if you turn the resonance all the way up. Super interesting. So I could go and, you know, take this down. Or was it higher? So yeah, it sounds like the comb filter might be kind of making it cut out. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, trash. So that's what it sounds like without trash. And then with trash. So then if I go ahead and bypass this, this is the original sound, bass sound that I had. And it's just this right here that's causing the pitch to happen like that. And of course I could do this. So yeah, so there's that bass, and then this other one here, and then all together. And then I kind of made this very over-the-top snare. Just a bunch of different layers. Snare, let's see. I think I ran, okay. We got flanger, a pedal, and camel fat. So again, it's just like taking a bunch of tools that you know, also tools that you don't know, and just kind of learning how each tool works and just applying it to different things. Like I've applied camel fat to bass, like vocals. I've seen some people throw it on their master. So, don't be afraid to go and take tools and apply it to things that you normally wouldn't, and just see like what happens. Like, definitely don't be afraid to try every tool that you have and see like what tools you actually need and what tools you don't. There's no reason to go and get a bunch of plugins if you're not going to use them all. So definitely try out different things and then see what works and see what doesn't, and see like what you like and all that stuff too. So yeah, that's basically it for this. Oh yeah, we were going through the snare. So yeah, this layer, kind of like a chunky snare that I pitched down. So normally, but yeah, I think I pulled this from a 100 gex pack and just pitched it down. Probably another snare from the gex pack, and then just a more typical snare. And then, so yeah, all together, if I were to solo all the drums, oh, and then we still have this little Azealia Banks 813 loop going on. And all I did was I pitched it up and I changed the transients to just this one shot. And so basically I would just play it one time per transient. And you can go and you can change this here. I believe it determines how much of the transient will come through. So this is the full transient. And then this is like dialing it back and less of the transient comes through. And you can turn it all the way down and hardly any comes through. So yeah, super fun technique. Again, try that technique. It sounds like Skrillex uses this technique a lot on his vocals to get like the choppy-esque kind of vocal sound that he's been doing a lot lately in his productions. So there's all that, and then it just goes into this part here. And so what I did is I just stretched the living hell out of this Pop Lock and Drop It acapella and just put it on texture mode. And I just played with the grain size. You could also make the grain size really small. And play with that. Super fun to play with and get interesting texture. Again, you could apply that to pretty much anything. What's this? Oh, I did the same thing with this. It sounds like a moan. Go together. And then I believe there's one more sound. Oh yes, here it is. So I took this Dick sample and I just went and made it really fast. And then I just had it fade out. So I just went and took all of these and went and consolidated it. And there's a little bit of overdrive and this gain station plugin. Super cool distortion plugin as well. And then we go into this Honk If You're Horny edit. I think I discovered this on one of Bauer's streams. He was making an edit, and I was like, okay, this song is kind of goofy and fun and weird, and so I went and just took this acapella. I think that's just an acapella part straight in the song. Yeah, so here's the full song, but there's just one section where it's just the acapella. And I just took that and looks like I tried to auto-tune it. Let's see.
If you are horny, want to make your pussy horny.
Yeah. And I also applied this Portal plugin. Super cool plugin from Output. It's like a granular delay plugin. and so it kind of adds this cool
If
texture.
you are horny, want to make your pussy horny, want to make your pussy wet. Come on, girl, just lick and spread. So come on, punk. If you are horny, want to make your pussy horny.
So yeah, and then with the Chris Brown sample.
If you are horny, want to make your pussy horny, want to make your pussy wet. Come on, girl, just lick and spread. So if you are horny, want to make your pussy horny.
And then again, just super simple drums. Like I think that's literally it. So it's just a kick and a sub. Kick in the sub and then this chi loop. Yeah, nothing crazy. I took out the lows. So here's the loop by itself with the lows. Oh, I pitched it up. That's how it sounds normally. And then over here, and for the sound, this like atmospheric sound, it's just an 808 pitched up super high, so 35 with a ton of reverb. So normally, just an 808. It's kind of stretched too, and then it's on Complex Pro, so that way it's kind of smoothed out. You could also do like texture mode. I just did that, and then threw this reverb on. And then that's basically it again, and it goes into this more melodic section.
If you are horny, want to make your pussy horny, want to make your pussy wet. Come on, girl, just lick and spread. So come on, so if you are horny, want to make your pussy horny, want to make your pussy wet. Come on.
And that's all in here. So I just took this sample here. Yeah, I didn't pitch it or anything. I didn't do too much with it. I just was grabbing stuff and just like, again, just go. Like, no thinking, just vibing and just going with the flow. And so I took these two samples here, these chords, and then this sample. So these are actually originally 100 BPM. This is how it sounds normally. So yeah, and then I just played it here at 140 BPM, and it sounds. And I just made my own bass line that kind of follows everything. And that's just a super simple Reese patch. I will make a video on this. In fact, I will link it here on this video so that when I do put it up, you can just click on that link and go to that on how to make a super easy, quick Reese bass inside of Serum. Anyways, so then I went and again just pulled the MIDI. You can just do convert harmony to MIDI or convert melody to MIDI, or you can even do convert drums to MIDI. And I just did convert, I believe it was harmony to MIDI, and I got this. And it's just this Juno patch here. Again from Arteria, this arpeggiated square kind of sound. So all together, we have this build here. So yeah, it builds into this. And again, super simple drums. And then I think this I actually wrote. I think I went and converted some stuff. Yeah, so I went and just took the same chords and just like wrote my own kind of melody, made all this. And again, nothing super crazy. Yeah, that's basically it for this. Just some drums, just like little ideas, basically. So yeah, then it ends on this bass drop, and it goes into something much faster. As you can see here, picks up to 160 now. And so now we're in this DMB thing. This entire intro was built from mostly sounds from this kind of joke Space Laces pack that he put out like years ago. I think it was like 2015, but it was just put out, and I tried to just only use that pack and like utilize them, and yeah, this is what came of it. So let's see, that harp sound was just this guitar pitched up and sped up. It's at normally 83, so this is what the original sound sounds like. Very nice guitar. And then this is what became of it. So together. And then it goes into like this jungle section. So it's just, you know, these are from Machine Drum. I think he put out the stems for all of the songs from this EP that he and this other producer Holly did. And so I just grabbed this drum break stem from the stems, and it worked perfectly. And I just took the lows out to allow for my own bass to come in. And a lot of these sounds come from these old sample CDs, I believe it was. I can't remember where I found them from. Let's see, it might be in here, but it's 0G. And there's like this huge folder of all these 90s sample CDs. I don't think that you can buy them anywhere, so they've been uploaded to, I think it's like archive.org. So they're just like, I believe, copyright free. I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, tons of great samples in here. And then this bass here, I just threw trash on again without just a normal sub. And I thought it would be kind of fun to just have like a jungle sounding tune, like old school jungle, go into a switch up. And it switches up into like your classic DMB that's like current sounding. But yeah, again, it's just more samples, like nothing too crazy. I didn't want to spend too much time on sound design and all that stuff, so I just picked a bunch of sounds and just kind of put them together. So there's this. Just has some reverb on it, and then this G-Rack again, a little bit of EQ, and that's basically it. I tried some other stuff, but I just felt like this worked the best. And then there's this other sample. this sample. And again, I don't think I did hardly anything to any of them. Just kept them all pretty much the same. Here's some drums, just some loops. So yeah. So yeah, all this is happening, and it switches up again right here. Goes into like this halftime section. Oh, I did not remember the 808 sounding like that. It's supposed to be like this. And just another chi loop that I kind of cut up from his drum pack. I think it's volume 2. Yeah, that's going on. And then it goes into this really chaotic section here at the end. This is basically the last, or it's like one more song after this. But yeah, as you can see, I kind of just tried a bunch of different styles, and I was kind of inspired by a bunch of different artists going through the entire series. Like you know, like you can kind of hear like Dead Mouse, and like the more melodic one I was kind of inspired by like Cashmere Cat, and then this one right here was kind of inspired by Lil Texas and just like the more hard style, gabber style, all that stuff. But I just kind of leaned into the more meme-ness of it with some of the samples choices that I did. So here's this speedy mess, and again, just like more samples. Just this. Took this break and just sped it up. I just try to make this song as ridiculous as possible. And that here is just this little just madness. Just taking sounds and just doing the most ridiculous things with them, making everything just sound ridiculous. And then here, I went and did kind of like how the only song that comes to mind is Hysteria by G. Jones and EPROM, where they did like that crazy build up where just everything just speeds up. And even just thinking about how, like, you know, you can do like the loop function on CDJs, and you loop it smaller and smaller. You go from like, say, like 1/8 to 1/4 to 1/4 to 1/8 to 1/16 to 1/32, etc., until it just becomes a tiny little grain. And then you put the wide mode on for the tempo BPM, and then move the tempo fader and move it up super high. I think it goes up to like 300 on CDJs, and it just makes it sound like this like crazy riser sound. And so that was what I tried to emulate by doing this. And so basically what you can do is, even though these are warped, it will still go and change the pitch of everything by changing the BPM like this. So I went from 180 up to the highest that you can go, which is 999, and it sounds like this. And I had it slow down all the way to the lowest that it could go. So from the highest to the lowest. drops into this weird kind of beat at 20 BPM. So it's just the same sound here that was over here. So anyways, let's get back to this. Same like hardstyle kick that I used. I just kind of like repurposed some of the sounds from the hardstyle beat or the gabber, whatever you want to call it. And then it goes into like this guitar bit. I just took these guitar chops from Splice. And then kind of did this like breakdown-esque part. And again, it just ends with this little dig sample. So it just ends like that, and that is it. And now here we are, basically 20 minutes, where just everything fades out. Hopefully you found some useful information from this. Please, I mean, if you feel so inclined to or inspired by this, please do something like this, because like I said, it's a great exercise in terms of like pushing yourself and your own creativity, be it, you know, applying a bunch of techniques via an album or an EP or a mix like this or whatever it might be. So anyways, if you found this video useful, please consider liking, subscribing, leave a comment. Please leave any feedback in terms of like, you know, this video, how I can improve, if you felt I needed to improve or anything like that. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.